All right, let's get right into it. We've just got the brand new health check for the UK economy, the official GDP numbers for the third quarter of 2025. So, what's really going on under the hood? Let's find out together.
You know, this is the big one, right? The question that really affects all of us, our jobs, our wallets, the whole shebang. So with this fresh data in hand, what's the answer? Is the UK's economic engine firing up, or is it kind of sputtering out? And here it is, the headline number. The UK economy grew by just 0.1%. Now look, positive is positive, but let's be real, this is a huge slowdown from the 0.3% we saw last quarter. It feels less like moving forward and more like just trying not to go backwards. Now, just to make sure we're all on the same page here, when we say real GDP, we're talking about the value of all the stuff and all the services a country produces. And that word real is super important. It means we've taken out the effect of rising prices, so we can see if we're actually making more stuff, not just that things cost more.
Okay, so that tiny 0.1% number, it really doesn't tell the whole story. In fact, if you look just a little bit closer, you see this incredible tug of war happening. It's like a tale of two economies, where some parts are acting as engines, pulling us forward, and others are like heavy anchors, dragging us back.
To really get that, you have to know what the UK economy is actually made of, and it is not an even split at all. The services sector, we're talking finance, retail, tech, all that, is a whopping 80% of the entire economy. It absolutely dwarfs production and construction. And believe me, this imbalance is the key to everything we're about to see. And boom! Here is that push and pull in action. Just look at this. That massive services sector, it's still growing, pulling the entire economy up with it. But then you have the production sector, manufacturing and so on. It actually shrank by 0.5%. That's a huge drag. Seriously, if it weren't for the services sector, that headline 0.1% would have been a negative number for sure. So what on earth happened? Why did the production sector take such a nosedive? Well, the answer is kind of wild. Let's zoom in on one single, really dramatic event that sent massive ripples through the whole economy. It turns out the single biggest thing that pulled the economy down in September was a sudden, massive drop in car manufacturing. It was so big, you could actually see its impact on the GDP number for the whole country. So, why did it happen?
Well, the report itself gives us this massive clue, quoting the industry's own trade body. This wasn't about a lack of demand or some boring supply chain issue. Nope. A single cyber incident was so bad it literally stopped production at a major car company.
And the impact of that one incident? A mind-boggling 28.6% drop in car manufacturing in just 1 month. Wow. It's a pretty stark reminder of just how fragile our modern economy can be, right? One digital attack on one company, and it visibly dents the entire national output. And yeah, this was no small IT glitch. The official Cyber Monitoring Center gave it a formal classification, a Category 3 systemic event. That's official speak for this is a really big deal with the potential for major national impact. And as the GDP numbers show, that potential was absolutely realized.
Okay, so we've got the big picture, the sectors, the cyber attack drama, but let's bring this down to a much more personal level. What does all this actually mean for the average person? For you?
To figure that out, we look at something called GDP per head. The idea is simple, but it's really powerful. You take the entire economic pie, that's the GDP, and you just divide it up by everyone in the country. It gives you a pretty good idea of whether our individual slice of that pie is getting any bigger.
And this, right here, is maybe the most important takeaway of the whole report. Because while the total economic pie grew by that tiny 0.1%, the population also grew. So when you do the math, GDP per head was 0, flat, nothing. Our individual slice of the pie didn't grow at all.
And this isn't just a one-off blip. That 0% number actually breaks a pretty good run we were on. It puts a stop to 6 straight quarters. That's a year and a half of positive growth in GDP per head. It's a pretty clear signal that, at the individual level, things have stalled.
So you have to ask, is this stagnation just a UK thing, or is something bigger going on? Let's zoom back out for a second and see how these numbers stack up against other major economies.
Well, it's a real mixed bag out there. You've got France doing pretty well, growing by 0.5%. But then you've got Germany and Italy, two economic powerhouses, completely flat at 0. And the UK? We're right there in the middle of the pack, neck and neck with Canada. So we're not at the back,
but we are definitely part of this wider slowdown.
Now, before we finish, there's one last really crucial thing you got to remember. These numbers, they're just the first guess. They will be revised as more information comes in. And those changes can be pretty big. On average, the final number can swing by about 0.28 percentage points either way. So this story of stagnation could easily change to one of modest growth, or it could even flip into a slight recession. We'll have to wait and see.
So there you have it. That's the picture for now. An economy basically treading water, being held up by one sector or being dragged down by another. And for the average person, prosperity has hit a wall. Which leaves us with the really big question, doesn't it? What's it going to take to get the UK's economic engine truly firing on all cylinders again?